Job 25923, Horizon Distribution. It says Bellevue, but it's not. It's actually in Everett. And I think they thought asphalt at first, but realized they need concrete. All right, scope of work. They want to put some industrial shelves in outside of their building. They need to have concrete pads to bolt the legs down to. So the front leg and the back leg need to be bolted down to concrete. So I propose to put in some rectangular concrete pads. We figured out we need 10 pads. And I don't know if they're going to be evenly spaced, but we need 10 pads. They will mark the location for us. But we need to put it against the building, and they need to be thick enough to where it'll hold these industrial shelves up when they start to put a lot of weight on it. So here's the best drawing I could come up with for now. So we'll saw cut the asphalt for each pad that we do. We'll saw cut the asphalt 6x2 by 12 inch depth. So we'll remove 3 inches of asphalt and 9 inches of dirt. And then what we'll do is we'll pour back into the hole a 6x2 by 12 inch depth of concrete. Okay, so 6x2, 12 inch depth concrete that we'll pour into this. And we'll make the concrete flush with the asphalt as best as we can. The farther we go down this direction, the higher the slope is. So that means we're going to have to cut and potentially go, 4 inches deeper, maybe 5 inches deeper on some of these holes. So I guess maybe what we should do is assume that we're going to dig down 16 inches. So 6x2 by 16 inches is maybe what we need to consider at first. But bottom line is we'll be putting back the same height of concrete in order to make these concrete pads level, so that, or at least level as much as possible, so that when they go to put the racks down and bolt them, that it'll be level. The legs on these posts have holes in them, so they can adjust the legs to create a more level surface. So just know that we don't have to be dead on level with every concrete pad we put in. But I think if we use these measurements here, it's going to help us get to what we want to do here. I told them that a 12-inch thick concrete block or pad would probably be thick enough or deep enough as a concrete base to hold these posts in. And I made it wide enough so that way when they go to drill the bases down, there's 4 holes on each post. So when they go to drill the base plate down, I wanted to make sure there was enough concrete around it to hold and not potentially crack. Another thing I said was we should put in some rebar stakes in the holes, maybe do 3 of them. Probably want to do like a 1-inch rebar, make them 2 feet long, so that way we've got a foot in the ground and then a foot sticking up. That'll be inside of the concrete. All right, so that's kind of my diagram. That's what we discussed that we would do. And like I said, we need to do 10 of these, okay? We need to do 10 of these. We don't have to do any kind of like 24-inch mix or anything like that. We want to use the strongest concrete we can for this project. So right now I'm outside on the east side of the Horizon building. You've got Herc Rentals over there in case we need to rent something. There's Herc Rentals. You've got Everett Downtown Storage. And on this east side, you've got access into the fence. They're going to clear all these areas for us. So all this pipe, everything will get cleared out of here, so we've got room to work, okay? So no issues with that. They want to start with the first concrete pad at that corner of the building. So a lot of this is going to have to get removed as well, so that we can, you don't have to remove everything, but enough so we can get in and work. There's access on the other side of this building. As you can see, there's an alleyway. So we'll be able to park right next to the building when we're pouring. Same thing when we're in here, truck can back in, and we'll have access to be able to pour all along this back wall. So we'll start there and we'll do 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're gonna come off of the building approximately 4 to 6 inches. I know that's sticking out, but it's okay because it's just gonna sit kind of inside the shelf. So they said not to worry about that because we're not installing any shelves. We're just putting in the concrete. You could see what the slope is here. So here's the base surface. You can see where the blocks are here, and that line that you see going across. The farther we go this way, you can see the higher the asphalt goes. See, we're only about 8 feet in, and it's already up to the bottom of those blocks. Okay. The farther you go this way, the asphalt starts raising up a little bit, and now you can see almost half of that block. It is about half of that block is covered with asphalt. So that's probably about a 3 to 4 inch lift from that position to here. That's why when we go to do this, they said that we could cut and just do them all the same at 12 inches. But I think what we probably want to do is we want to try as best as we can to make these blocks level if possible. We don't want to have it raised up above the asphalt down here. We want to try to keep it flush. So that means we might have to go a little bit deeper as we move this direction. From that point to this point, it's pretty level. You don't see much of a change. So right about in this area where the power line is, it's almost to the top of that block, as you can see in there. You can see the little line right there. I mean, we're about 2 inches from the top of that block, and down there we were about a half an inch below the bottom of the block. So it's raised up from this point here to there. It's probably raised up about 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches almost from there. Okay. Pretty simple job, I think. When we go to put the concrete back in, some of these, probably these 5 will all be about the same. It's gonna be a little bit different down there. So down here, that concrete's gonna be under the asphalt, probably 4 inches or so. I told them they could, once they put their posts in, once they lock them down onto the concrete pads, that they could fill it with cold patch if they wanted to, or just fill it with gravel so that it's flush with the asphalt surface. So that way they're not getting a bunch of areas with water collecting inside the holes. So I told them there's different options they could do without us having to come back out with an asphalt crew to fill those holes in on top of those bolts. It'd probably be best if they just filled it with crushed rock, so that way if they ever wanted to take the posts out, they could just remove the rock and unbolt the posts. Okay, that's it. They want to get on this job as soon as possible. One last thing, Dan's sending me, the guy that's here, Dan Emery, he's going to send me an email requesting that we drop off a bunch of topsoil, like dirt from like a landscape company. They'll handle it, but what they're hoping to do is throw that expense onto this contract. All we have to do is bring the stuff out and dump it, and they will end up taking the dirt and putting it into their flower beds all around here. I'll have that information plugged in on Workman's dashboard. It's going to be a simple thing where we just put the price in and they'll have it. We'll make sure somebody delivers it here for them, but it'll all be on this contract. Okay, any other questions, let me know.